Good morning, and welcome to Treetops Raceway Park, home of the crossover. Merch by Meekin is the sponsor of 70 years of the Corvette. In honor of the 70th anniversary of the Chevrolet Corvette, this tournament features every model of the Vette, and you are going to be watching the quarterfinals today. It'll be the first two groups. This race is sponsored by Merch by Meekin, and Merch by Meekin supplies all the metal signs you see around the track. They also supply buildings, glassware, shirts, and other promotional products with your logos. Contact them for all your needs. And in honor of the 4th of July, we're here in the United States. Here is Group 1 of the quarterfinals. Pretty loaded group if you ask me. Here is the second group of the quarterfinals, which has a couple big names in it as well. Here is the current track records. A 9.593 to knock Numbskull off. And now for your introductions of quarterfinal Heat 1. Chowhound from Chowhound Racing and Diecast from the U.S. will be driving a Hot Wheels 1962 Corvette gasser at 42.9 grams. KC from Blue Line Racing, also hailing from the U.S., in a Hot Wheels 1997 Corvette at 60.0 grams. Lily the Dog from Lily's Boneyard from the USA will be driving a Matchbox 2008 Corvette ZR1 at 60.0 grams. And Numbskull from Numbskull Racing from the U.S. in a Hot Wheels 2020 Corvette ZR1. And now for quarterfinal Heat 1, Race 1. We have KC and Chowhound in the front row, Numbskull and Lily the Dog in the back row. And they're off. Looks like Numbskull was giving KC a little tap. KC will get the whole shot, followed by Chowhound. Chowhound goes over to his roof. Numbskull is behind him, pushing him down the track. Numbskull does get by, so does Lily the Dog. KC is checked out on everybody, and he will take them into the final turn. Numbskull and Lily the Dog are still following. Here comes KC. He gets a little hop on the bump. Coming out of the turn, he gets the win. And here comes Numbskull and Lily the Dog. Numbskull will get second, Lily will get third, and Chowhound will get a DNF. Now let's look at the replay. See KC come out, and right there you see Chowhound hits the inside wall a little too hard and goes over. You see Numbskull get up underneath him and just keeps his foot on the gas, pushing him down the track, and then finally gets around him, and Lily gets on his bumper, but KC is checked out. You'll see them lose a lot of momentum coming out of that turn.
A few moments later.
Here they come. See if we can't get Chowhound flipped over and checked out. Make sure he's okay for the race 2. A 9.249 for KC. That will give him another spot in the top 10 track time, so he gets a third place spot as well. He has 5, Numbskull with 4, Lily with 3, and Chowhound with 0 for the DNF. And now quarterfinal Heat 1, Race 2. You'll have Chowhound and Lily the Dog in the front row, KC and Numbskull in the back row. They're off. Looks like Chowhound got a decent jump. And he does. He will get the whole shot, followed by KC. Lily the Dog and Numbskull are back there. Chowhound is keeping. Oh, look at KC makes a nice pass on the outside. And KC will lead him home. Chowhound in second. Lily the dog in third. And Numbskull spun out. He's coming in reverse. Here you'll see KC takes the win. Oh, Chowhound gets sideways and catches Lily. Lily hits the inside wall and gets stuck. And Numbskull is just creeping around that final turn. And he does get on the inside of Lily the dog and will finish third. And Lily the dog has a DNF. She got stuck on the finish stretch for the rally track. Right here you see KC gets around Lily. Right there you see Numbskull gets completely back, sideways and backwards. You'll think Chowhound's got a nice lead, but KC waits for his opportunity and then just blows by. KC will lead them in that final turn there. He comes out flawless. But Chowhound gets squirrely as he comes out and directs Lily right up underneath that ramp, and she gets stuck. And here you can see Numbskull just barely making it. But does make it by Lily. It makes it to the finish line. Get Lily pulled out of there. 9.721 for KC. So with that, KC has 10. Numbskull has 6. And Lily the dog and Chowhound are tied at 3. So quarterfinal heat 1 race 3 is next up. We have Lily the dog and Numbskull in the front row, Chowhound and KC in the back row. They're off. And it looks like Numbskull is going to get the whole shot, being pushed by KC. Lily the dog and Chowhound. Something happened to KC where he lost momentum. Numbskull has got a decent lead, but here comes KC. Here comes Lily the dog and Chowhound. Numbskull will lead them into the final turn. KC takes a look on the inside. Numbskull pinches him off. Numbskull will get the win, followed by KC, followed by Lily, and then Chowhound in fourth. You see that bump drafting right there from KC and Numbskull. And right here again, you see them try to get together to get up underneath. But Numbskull holds them off and will take the win. A 10.314 for Numbskull. So now we have KC with 13, Numbskull with 11, Lily the dog with 5, and Chowhound with 4. Quarterfinal heat 1, race 4. This is all just for fun. We have Numbskull and KC in the front row, Lily the dog and Chowhound in the back row. They're off. And it looks like KC is going to get the whole shot, followed by Chowhound, followed by Numbskull, followed by Lily the dog. KC is going to take off and check out on everybody. Chowhound is still in second, followed by Numbskull. Here comes Lily the dog. There goes KC into that final turn. Whoa, we lost Chowhound. Chowhound went over on his roof. Numbskull gets by for second, and Lily the dog gets by for third. Right here you see Chowhound moves over and blocks Numbskull to maintain that second position. And coming out of the turn right there, you see he's already up on his side and goes all the way over to his roof. KC continues on to get the win. It's like Chowhound rides Numbskull for a minute, and Lily Dog gets around on the outside. We'll get Chowhound loaded up. That's twice he's been on his roof, getting to the infield care center. A 9.528 for KC. So that'll take KC's score to 18. Numbskull has 14. Lily the Dog with 7 and Chowhound with 4. So moving on to the semifinals will be KC and Numbskull. And now for quarterfinal Heat 2. Flip from Flips Racing from the USA, driving a Hot Wheels 1978 Corvette Stingray at 59.5 grams. Lone Star from Live Young Diecast from the USA in a Matchbox 1957 Corvette at 56.2 grams. We have Puff from Puffs Racing from the US in a Hot Wheels 1963 Corvette Grand Sport Roadster at 46.1 grams. And finally, Jason Miles from Milestone Racing, hailing from the USA in his Hot Wheels 2020 Corvette at 59.6 grams. And here we have quarterfinal Heat 2, Race 1. We have Lone Star and Flip in the front row, Jason Miles and Puff in the back row, and they're off. It looks like Flip is going to have a decent lead going into the first turn. Open into the open track. People get tangled up. Puff is into second. Lone Star is stuck, and it looks like Jason Miles got stuck. And it looks like Puff just got hung up there. Flip went off the wall a couple times. It'll be all Flip. Everybody else is off track. Flip will get the win. Puff is stuck on the curb. Lone Star is holding up Jason Miles. Right here you see Puff gets down into Lone Star. Lone Star gets sideways, causing Jason Miles to hit. Then Lone Star gets sideways coming out of the turn and holding up Jason Miles again. They can't get straightened around. Right here you see Flip gets up on top of the curb. Comes back down into track, but I think he bumps Puff down to the curb. And he can't get off of it. And Flip will just take it down for a nice, easy finish. The tow truck crews are having a busy day today. An 11.795 for Flip. So with that, Flip has 5. Everybody else zeros with their DNFs. Now for quarterfinal Heat 2, Race 2. We have Flip and Puff on the front row, Lone Star and Jason Miles in the back row. They're off. Puff gets a decent start. He's got a nice start, and he gets the whole shot, but Flip goes by him on the inside. Lone Star goes over. Jason Miles gets by him. Puff gets by Flip. And Puff will take them into the final turn, followed by Flip, and then Jason Miles. Puff gets sideways and holds up Flip. He does take the win. Flip pushes him across for second, and Jason Miles comes in for third. Lone Star is up on his roof in the late automotive turn. Right here you see Flip goes by Puff on the inside. And right there you see Lone Star is up on the curb and goes all the way over. Jason Miles takes a high line to get around him. Right here you see Puff get on the inside of Flip and gets a nice pass. And you see Jason Miles get sideways and slows down. And Puff slows down Flip. And then Puff will take them into the final turn. And he gets a little squirrely by going up and hitting the outer wall. Gets completely sideways. Flip hits him and maintains that position. And Jason Miles comes in for third. We'll get Lone Star checked out. 10.629 for Puff. So now we have Flip with 8, Puff with 5, Jason Miles with 2, and Lone Star still with 0. Quarterfinal Heat 2, Race 3. We have Puff and Jason Miles in the front row, Flip and Lone Star in the back row. They're off. Looks like Jason Miles got up on the curve. And then you see Flip and Puff get into it. Lone Star gets up on the curve, gets back on track. Puff has got the lead, followed by Jason Miles. Whoa! Puff goes off and hits the tree. And Jason Miles gets by him. Jason Miles will lead them into the final turn and come out for the win. Flip got on the curb. Lone Star's on his roof again, and Puff is in the infield. Right there, something happened with Jason. He got completely up on two wheels. And then you see Flip gets by him on the inside and turns it sideways. Puff has a decent lead. Right there you see Lone Star up on the curb. Puff's trying to drive backwards, but he's bouncing off the walls left and right. Now he goes off and hits that tree. Jason Miles gets underneath him. There goes Puff. Luckily, he ends up finishing on his wheels. And here comes Jason Miles. Jason Miles drove underneath Puff's car. Get him checked out. Get Flip and Lone Star. 12.2 for Jason Miles. So now we have Flip still leading with 8, Jason Miles with 7, Puff with 5, and Lone Star is yet to get on the board. Now we have quarterfinal Heat 2, Race 4. We have Jason Miles and Lone Star in the front row, Puff and Flip in the back row. They're off. Looks like Lone Star is going to pull the whole shot, followed by Flip, then Jason Miles. Flip gets on the inside of Lone Star and gets sideways. Jason Miles gets caught and stopped. Puff gets stopped in the turn. And then here comes Lone Star by himself. Oh, and he gets up on the curb and gets on his roof. Actually, he gets on his side and then comes to a halt in the last turn. So we have a quadruple DNF. All these cars are still on their wheels, so we'll let them restart and get back up to the top of the hill. So here's quarterfinal Heat 2, Race 4 restart. Same lineup with Jason Miles and Lone Star, and then Puff and Flip, and they're off. Once again, Lone Star is going to get the whole shot, followed by Flip, and then Jason Miles, and Flip gets up on the wall and hung up. Jason Miles is going down in second place. Right here you see Lone Star loses it and goes off track. And then Jason Miles takes the opportunity, goes by, and Jason Miles will come in for the win. And nobody else. You got Flip up here on his roof. Puff is down here, off track, and Lone Star is off track there. Right here you see Flip tries to block Jason Miles. He gets pushed up on the curb, but does come back down, but he's got two wheels off still, and Puff kind of pushes him over. Puff does get around him and continues on, but has little momentum for that next turn. And right there you see Lone Star playing pinball with the walls, and he gets completely sideways and just rolls off the wall or off the curb in that turn. And Jason Miles takes every opportunity he's had so far and goes on for the win. And get Flip checked out and get his car back to the pits. Lone Star needs a hand, as well as Puff. So here we have Jason Miles with 12, Flip with 8, Puff with 5. Lone Star did not get a finish. Jason Miles and Flip will be moving on to the semifinals. Congratulations to KC of Blue Line Racing, Numbskull, Jason Miles, and Flip. You'll be moving on to the semifinals. Please hit the like button if you guys like this, and subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss an episode. And as always, thanks for watching.